Hello, college algebra student. This video is for chapter 5.1, quadratic function. A quadratic function can be represented by a parabola, and in the toolkit function, we have a parent function of a quadratic function, which is y equal to x squared, and we know that it goes like up parabola have a vertex at 0, 0. So the main features of a parabola is its U-shape. It's facing up sometimes if it is just x squared, but if you undergo reflection, if you multiply a negative outside, then it becomes facing down. So there is always an extreme point called the vertex. In the parent function, the vertex is 0, 0, and it is the minimum point. So if it's facing up, then we have a minimum point. If it's facing down, we have a maximum. Right? So the vertex and the maximum and minimum point is very important. The other important line that the parabola has is called the axis of symmetry, like that cuts through the vertex. It always cuts through the vertex that divide the parabola into two halves, and they are symmetrical on two halves. Okay, we call it the axis of symmetry. It must pass through the vertex. So if you know the vertex, you would know the axis of symmetry as well as the maximum or minimum. Another point that is important is the y-intercept. So not all parabola like this one have 0. So for this one, there is none, right? 0 means the x-intercept. It doesn't have anything that touch the x-axis, so there's no 0. Sometimes there is. If your vertex is below it, then it will cut through it, but in this one, but all of them has a y-intercept, so which is when x is 0. So in this case, this one has an intercept of y-intercept of 8. And what is the vertex for that? So you can read off the vertex is 3, 1. And you know that it passed through the axis of symmetry passed through the vertex. So the vertical line is x is equal to 3 here. X equal to 3, so it directly goes through the vertex. What about equation? So I can tell that it is a quadratic function if I see a parabola, and I can read off the important things. What about equation? If someone gives me an equation, how can I tell that it is a quadratic function? So the key is it must have an x squared term. And they can be written in two forms. In general form, which is just ax squared plus bx plus c. So have some b has an x term and has a constant term. In this case, if you have a parabola that is written as this term ax squared bx plus c, the axis of symmetry would be at x equal to negative b over 2a. B is this one, so you do negative of b over 2 times of a, you'll find the axis of symmetry. And then the vertex would be at the axis of symmetry. So vertex is negative b over 2a, and then f of negative b over 2a, that means you plug in negative b over 2a back into the function to find the y coordinate of the vertex. You can also see a quadratic function written in something called the vertex form. Why? Because it is very easy to read out the vertex. So basically what happens is you will not see any x term. So see everything is included in a x square and there's no x term. And whatever that is inside, if you see minus h, that is the x coordinate of the vertex. The outside k is the y coordinate of the vertex. So we call them hk traditionally, that represent the vertex. And of course, then the axis of symmetry would be at x equal to h, that vertical line. Also, both of them has the value a that multiply either by outside of the x minus x squared or the coefficient of x squared. If this a is greater than 0, the parabola will open up. So the function will have, so this would be either hk, if it is in hk, if it is in this form, or negative b over 2a, function of negative b over 2a, right? So in this case, if it open up, then it has a lowest point of y. So this k is the minimum. Or f of negative b over 2a is the minimum because it's open up. If a is less than 0, oh, this would be less than 0. It's a typo. Yeah, it is less than 0. That one is what? It's greater than 0, right? Then the parabola open downward. So I would write it like this, right? A less than 0. You can think of sad face, you know. So down. And then this point, but this point is the highest point, right? So you would say this is hk, or the same thing, negative b over 2a, function of negative b over 2a. We'll do an example. And the k value is the highest in the whole curve, so we call them the maximum. So it is important that you draw the, sketch the parabola to see if it's up or down, to find out if you have a maximum or a minimum point. So which one do you use? It depends on how you're written, how your parabola is written. So let's do the example. So we have A, B, C, D, and then we have 5 examples. So in all cases, find out vertex, axis of symmetry, and tell us if it's the max or mean y value. So first is f of x is x squared plus 3. So I do not see any x term, so this looks like a vertex form. So I will write it as ax minus h squared plus k. I don't see any minus, so h must be 0. Vertex is hk is 0. Outside 3 is k, so it's 3. Axis of symmetry is the one that passed through this. So you can imagine A is positive, right? So up parabola. And so you will see like this. And this point is 0, 3. The axis of symmetry goes through it. So axis of symmetry is x equal to 0 because x is 0 here. And we have a minimum y because it's the lowest point of y equal to 3. So this y value 3 is a minimum. Another one b. So I have ax minus x squared plus k. I match it because this looks like a vertex form. So my h is exactly 1. So v is 1. My k is nothing. So vertex at 1, 0, like shift to the right side, right? You can think of it, shift to the right. Oh, but my a is negative, so it is down parabola. Down parabola means I have a maximum point, right? Maximum y is, what is the y value? It's 0. And what is my axis of symmetry? It would be symmetrical around x equal to 1. So that's vertical line that goes through, this is x equal to 1. Third example, C. I have another example, another parabola, 1/2 x plus 2 squared plus 3. Now this is not linear because there is a square over this term. So it looks like the vertex form again, right? X minus h squared plus k. Well, it matches exactly. So my h is, vertex is what? It's not 1 because this is a plus. So you flip it over, -1. 3 is k. So, and then my axis of symmetry is what? Is the one that goes through -1s. X equal to -1. What do I have a max or min? So it is A is 1/2. 1/2 is still greater than 0. So it's still facing up. Right? So I would have a minimum because I'm facing up. The y is 3. Y equal to 3. Then the next one is we did 3. All these are vertex form. This is not a vertex form. Why? Because I see x like outside of the x square. Looking at the vertex form, I don't see any x term outside, but this one has x. So this is A, B, C, right? The general form. So that, but still a parabola. It's just written different way because if you multiply this out, it would look like this. So how do I do my vertex? My vertex, I can't read it out. I have to actually calculate it. X is equal to negative b, negative e, over 2a. 2 times 2, 4. So it's -2. K is, put this back, 2, -2 squared. So whatever that you have for h, you put it back and calculate it because actually that is how you do it. is f of negative b over 2a. So this would be negative 8 because I squared this is 4. 4 times 2 is plus 8, right? And then minus 16 plus 12. So this would equal to negative x plus 12 is 4. So now my vertex, I'm going to write here, is negative 2 comma 4. Once I find my vertex, I can do the axis of symmetry because it goes through the vertical, the x coordinate. So x equal to negative 2. Do I have a max or minimum? A is positive. It's facing up, right? So I have a minimum y. Minimum y is equal to 4. Minimum y equal to 4. Okay. Do I have another example? So let's see. One more example. Example would be, oh, is this a vertex form? No, I see x by itself. So this is ABC again. C is negative 30. We usually do not use this to find the vertex. So vertex is HK. Maybe I'll do it here. So more space here. So H is negative B, negative 4 over 2A, negative 0.2, right? It's still it's negative, so you have to take it. 4 over 0.2 is what? 20. Positive 20. So K is f of 20. So you plug it in. Negative 0.1, 20 squared plus 4 times 20 minus 30. So that would be 20 squared is 400. 400 times negative 0.1, that is negative 40. Negative 40 plus 80 minus 30. So that's 40 minus 30, that's 10. Okay, so we calculated V is equal to H, which is 20. K is 10. And I have a negative. So it would be a facing down, right? Facing down parabola. It would pass through 20, 10. So my axis of symmetry would be x equal to 20. Is always the x coordinate. I have a maximum because it's facing down. I have a maximum y is equal to 10. It's the highest point. So these are all the way. This is like the very important features of looking at a function. If you know it's a quadratic function, and looking at the main features of vertex and the maximum point, because when we're dealing with quadratic function, these two are the most important things. So we are going to learn how to graph quadratic function if someone writes you an equation in the next video.